Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. Hot or cold, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with a topic session with my good friend Teresa Quinlan coming to us. She does lots of work with emotional intelligence, and so I asked her if we could do a topic on the importance of emotional intelligence, and she jumped on board. And so I think it's such a important topic nowadays, and people need to have knowledge and information on this so we can continue to grow as a nation.
Yes, sir. As a continent, as a world, as a planet, who knows, right?
That's it. Well, again, before we start, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to do the topic session with us.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm always so excited to spread the word.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, let's dive into it. What are some things that are important to you on the importance of emotional intelligence? I know you have some strategies and things that you teach and preach. So if you don't mind kind of sharing some of those things with the audience.
Yeah, the biggest one I think is always the foundation of emotional intelligence, which is our self-awareness. And oftentimes, if we can tap into that, and even if we only got better at that, we would be so much better all around. A lot of our self-awareness can be related to our mental health. How good are we feeling about ourselves? And that can come all the way back to, when we were in the womb
Yeah.
and then first joined everyone else in this world, and our emotions, how were they responded to when we were young? And how were we taught to respond or pay attention to our emotions?
I think it's good stuff. That's one thing for me. I think EQ is more important than IQ,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel that way because just like you said, I think it heightens your awareness.
Mm-hmm.
It heightens your awareness of you and who you are. It heightens your awareness of your surroundings and the people that are around you. But then bigger than that, once you put those two things together, it allows you to move efficiently in your environment and continue to grow.
Yeah, you get to navigate all the information that's present, not just some of the information
Yeah.
that's present. So if I've got a strong IQ and my EQ is lacking, I can't navigate the emotional presence. That's
Mm,
part of every interaction, whether it's my emotions or someone else's emotions. If my IQ is lacking and my EQ isn't present, I can navigate that, but I might get a little stuck with being able to participate in creative problem solving because I'm lacking some knowledge. So our capacity around both of these things are important. Often EQ can matter way more than IQ
yeah.
because how we even process information is through our emotion center first before we get to our logical brain. So we get that emotional information before we can think about it logically. And if we're incapable of understanding it, and understanding how it might be influencing us or biasing us, then our rational brain sometimes isn't so rational.
Man, I love that explanation. How you saying, we process through our emotional center first.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't mind, can you like dig a little more deeper into, how that process works, how we bring things in,
Mm-hmm.
process them with our emotions and how it goes to our actions. You mind kind of just talking on that?
Yeah, for sure. So every stimulus in our
Uh-huh.
environment is processed through our brainstem first. So that part of the brain is called the amygdala, and its primary function is fight, flight, freeze. And it's our reaction center. So when we used to live in caves, that was really good when we saw a tiger. because it made sure we got back in the cave, and it's for survival mode. But that part of our brain, and it's lovingly referred to as our reptilian brain, still functions in exactly the same way. So, when we have a threat that's in front of us, the amygdala reacts, releases cortisol in our system, which heightens all of our capacities to flee and survive. So right now, we don't really have tigers meandering around as threats anymore. We have different kinds of threats, and we're interpreting these threats in almost the same way. So high stakes, someone might be yelling at us, tight deadlines, a lot of pressure. And so sometimes some people are caught in just reactive mode. So their amygdala is on fire all the time, which means they have high levels of cortisol in their body. Now, once the environmental stimulus sort of passes through our amygdala and we're like, oh, okay, no threat, I'm good. Then our limbic system is the next portion of our brain where that information is processed, and that's our emotion center. And so we feel physically the manifestation of our environment first. That's our emotion centers, are felt through our 5 senses. And so your body will give you a bunch of signals as to how you're feeling. The trick is, are you in tune with what your body is telling you? So have you connected what you feel like physically when you're happy or sad or angry, and when you're sort of content compared to ecstatic, or when you're frustrated compared to irate? Because those are levels of happiness, levels of anger. And we need to know the subtle differences between the two so we can pick up on, ooh, right now I'm a bit frustrated. And if I don't resolve that or figure out why that is, in 2 seconds, 10 minutes, depends on the individual, I might get too irate. And then that's when my behavior is driven by my emotions rather than keeping my logical brain, which is my prefrontal cortex. So that's the next part of the brain the information comes to, can process rationally.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Reaction, emotion, process.
Yeah. I think it's so important for us to understand, oh, that's how my brain works. Oh, I better get in touch with then what my emotions are providing me and pay attention to what my body is telling me. And that's generally some of the first exercises I do with people are around, let's just pay attention to your body for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Again, bringing the magic A word, awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you were, describing, the processes and the sensors, it made me think of the E plus R equals O, events plus, response equals outcome. And so, that tiger, what's your event?
Yeah.
I think when you choose to have a positive response, your outcome is going to be positive as well. But if you throw negative in that equation, as far as a negative response, then you get that negative outcome from it.
Yeah. And we can have, part of that could be our personality.
Yeah.
And so by age 5 to 7, our personality is pretty much set. And we might grow a standard deviation to that personality, but we're pretty much competitive or stubborn or friendly or approachable. We're pretty much what we're going to be by the time we're 7. And then our IQ will grow until we're 19, 20-ish, but then our aptitude for learning and our aptitude for our IQ peaks then, so it doesn't continue to grow. And our EQ is the remaining element as skills that we can continue to grow to sort of help us balance our personality traits. So I can be insanely competitive, like high on that scale. And sometimes that works in my favor, but sometimes it does not.
Yeah.
And I need to be aware when the competitive part of my personality is driving my emotional responses, especially if someone is going to challenge me. And then I have to dial up, empathy as an emotional intelligence skill set and get curious about their perspective. And if I can do those things in balance with each other, then I could probably also be assertive with my point of view while managing my emotional state. So I'm not assertive abrupt, but I'm assertive conversational.
So good. I think it also, just like you said, it allows us to self-check ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, man, what am I doing? Like it allows you to tone it down or, peak up, whatever you need to do. It allows you to be in a state of where again, the awareness, of what you're doing, how you're responding to things. And, I like the whole, like the even keel perspective. You
Mhm.
don't want to be too low. You don't want to be too high. But if you can stay in between and, be grateful for the
Mm.
experiences and the things that you have and that you've accomplished, but then at the same time be hungry,
Mm.
so humble and hungry.
Yeah.
I think it allows us to, if we can do that and be in that place throughout our life, I think we can achieve legacy.
I love that word, legacy.
Yeah.
People will remember how you made them feel way more than they'll remember perhaps anything else. I really like them. They made me feel good about myself. I really like them. They made me feel comfortable, calm, accepted. I really like that person. They made me feel, included.
Yes.
Not, I really like that person. They yelled at me a lot. Nope, that's not
No,
usually what comes out.
that don't happen. But I think too, as you were saying that, it makes me reflect on the feeling that you get when you receive that.
Hmm.
Mm, and when you have a great experience, I think like that of receiving things like that, it makes you want to give that even more.
Yeah. And then there's also this world of you can be mad because there's a piece within our emotional intelligence. Sometimes we have to get over labeling our emotions. Not sometimes. We
Mm,
always have to get over labeling. Like happy is a good emotion. Angry is a bad emotion.
yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I was young, that was messaging that I was taught. Oh, don't be angry. Like, that's not nice. You shouldn't be like that. Like, but I am angry. And the lack of validation of our emotions when we were young, or the lack of acknowledgement and then validation of our emotions when we were young, kind of shows up today when people are dismissing them or suppressing them. And working with adults and sometimes executives, this is the tipping point for them to become comfortable and then using the emotional information, is removing that label that you can be mad, you just need to be mad on purpose.
Yeah. Use it
Not
the right way.
you have to use it the right way,
Yeah.
because we see this quite a bit sometimes in sports where the coach is clearly upset and we could probably label it as mad, and he speaks to a player in exactly with the right information, with the right level of mad at the right time, and that player turns around and wins the game. And their relationship is strengthened and they embrace at the end of the game. Like, we see this happen all the time. And so it's not to say that only some emotions are valid. They're all valid and they can all be used really effectively to get the outcome that you want.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah, just such a good thing, such a good topic. There's so many layers and levels that we could go and people could discuss and people could learn, to help them be better. But I think, just in looking at it all, I think it's important to be in alignment with those emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have experiences, and with my emotional intelligence journey, what ends up happening is, because you're paying attention, you're able to catch the emotional uprising at the pebble sensation. So a subtle sensation of emotion rising. And some of them I am much more in tune with because of how they present themselves physically. So for example, when I get frustrated, which is a low level of angry for me, I start to get like a tension at the base of my throat. And generally, I'm frustrated because my belief pattern is amplifying that this person doesn't have all the information, that this person might be in the wrong, and so my belief pattern will continue to amplify that emotion from frustration to irritation to angry to mad to irate to furious. And as the emotion escalates, for me, it goes from like a subtle tension at the base of my throat to a choking sensation with red face. And I've sometimes gotten there in the snap of the fingers because my amygdala reacted. This was a situation that before in my past
Yeah.
caused a reaction response every single time. So my amygdala drives that one. And part of our process of becoming emotionally intelligent is reflecting on those moments and debating the belief pattern that amplifies the experience, and then discarding that belief pattern, because it could have been something that I saw when I was a kid over and over again, repeated behavior. And so that's part of my belief pattern, but I don't actually believe those things to be true. So they're not my truths. They're just programming. And if I can do that work where I debate and dispute it, then my amygdala creates new responses to that stimulus. And now when I experience it, I don't have that trigger rate to irate. I have a trigger that now kind of takes me to irritated,
Yeah.
right? So it's a subtle expression. And in
Mm-hmm.
irritation, I can manage my behavior in irritation. If I get too irate, I've tipped over and my behavior is completely driven by my emotional state.
And such a good explanation, and again, awareness. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
just having the self awareness to understand who you are, what you do, why you do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Just, allowing yourself to be the best version of yourself. And I think I may have shared this quote with you, but I'm gonna share it here. I interviewed David Chin, big time businessman, and he said, we don't have to strive to conquer the world. We just have to strive to conquer ourselves.
Oh, that's
Y-
beautiful.
and within that, everything that you just explained, about emotional intelligence, it's all about that. And again, at the end of the
Mm.
day, for me, like I said, I feel that if we can be in check with that, if we can have amazing EQ, then it allows everything else to just fall in line and be on point in our lives.
Yeah, generally, if I've ever struggled with something, it's because I was in the way, not because someone else was in the way, even when it looked like someone else was in the way.
I love that. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
Yeah, I just told the story, right? I told the story based on what I observed them doing that made me right and them wrong.
Yeah.
Instead of going, oh, I'm having this experience right now. It looks like that. And my storytelling is that they're a bad person. They don't want the best for me. Like I told all these negative stories. And then if you totally pause and go, well, wait a minute, maybe that's not the intention whatsoever. Why don't I go ask? And as soon as you ask, with an intention of what do I want for me? What do I want for them? What do I want for us? Then when we have this conversation, that makes the invisible visible. And no longer am I telling these stories. Now oh, that's what that is. Okay, so now what do I want to do about it? Now I can move to problem solving, rationally thinking about what's objectively happening.
Mm.
Mhm.
Well, I want to tell you thanks again for taking the time to, man, drop some hot nuggets about about the importance of emotional intelligence. And I wish you continued success in everything you're doing, because as you can, see, audience, it's amazing stuff.
Thanks, Chip.
All right. Well, thank you guys for checking out this topic session. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.